To match number 7 we go now for the Asian qualifiers. That's right, for the World Cup in 2026. Can the Japanese maintain the top of the table dominance, or will they become unstuck? We'll take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about match number 7 in the AFC qualifiers for the World Cup in 2026. Currently, Iran, Korea and Japan are tipping the top of the tables, and they are destined for the World Cup in America and Mexico, Canada. But it can all change this coming match day. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. If you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe button, one-stop shop for World Cup qualifiers, Blackburn Rovers, World Football. We've got it all here under one rooski. That's right, spicy game, but nothing is off the table just yet. That includes China, Palestine, and even North Korea could still make the World Cup. But they're going to have to do some wonders this time around. We'll showcase you that and more in a second. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons. What we're going to do now, though, is revisit the last round of games, which did take place back in October, November. Showcase you what went on with my picks, and of course, showcase you the real deal results and the table. So sit tight, hold on, because we're getting into it right here, right now, starting with these guys. How about me? You want to look at me? How about that? That's right. Coming at you. My predictions are on the left, the real deal's on the right. And I think I know my shit, guys, or at least I have a good crack of the shit here. North Korea did lose to Uzbekistan. Yeah, Uzbekistan. 1-0 win as it was. I went with a 2-0 win. China did lose at home to Japan. 3-1 win. I went with a 2-0 win. My boys, Indonesia with a massive 2-0 win over Saudi Arabia. I went with a 1-0 win. That's them. They're in the mixer right here, right now. Kyrgyzstan did lose to Iran. It was a goal first, 3-2 in the end. Iran coming out on top. I went with a 1-0 win. Palestine picked up a monster point against South Korea. I went with a 2-0 away win. Meanwhile, UAE with a massive 5-0 win of Qatar. Again, I went with a draw on that one. Iraq did beat Oman 1-0. Got them spot on the nose. Bahrain and Australia 2-2. I went with a 1-1. And Kuwait did draw with Jordan. I went with a 2-1 win as well. I think this is the tables right here, right now. Let's jump over there and have a look at it. So these are the tables as you see it. We do have Iran tip at the top of the table, 16 points there, 3 points clear over Uzbekistan. Top 2 go through to the World Cup. 3rd and 4th go through to the playoff, which is another sort of can of worms we'll open up whenever we get around. So currently, there's Iran and Uzbekistan. Meanwhile, in Group B, down here, we have South Korea. They are dominant with 3 points clear over Iraq. They're in the command right now. Jordan and Oman on the outside looking in. Let me go over here. My boys, Indonesia, are in the mixer here in what is an absolute wild, anyone's guess as to what's going on. And there have been changes, dramatic changes over in Indonesia. Patrick Kluivert coming in, a bit of a real Dutch contingent there. And hopefully the Indonesians can get it right and make it to the World Cup. I would bloody believe it. Anyway, Japan's still running away with it. Absolutely incredible. Who will join them? Who bloody knows? That's, of course, the situation over there. Of course, now we're going to be looking forward to those next round of games, and they're coming at you right here, right now. So let's get into them. There are, what we're looking at, 3, 6, 9 games, of course, coming at you this coming match day. So let's get cracking, starting with a trip to Uzbekistan. All right, folks, let's get into it then, shall we? Uzbekistan taking on Kyrgyzstan, coming out to the Bunakuntu Stadium. Uzbekistan currently find themselves 2nd in the group, over in Group A, up against Kyrgyzstan, who are 5th right now in the respective. They've played each other 5 times in 2011, 5 wins for the Uzbekis, nothing for Kyrgyzstan, and there's been 0 draws. Uzbekistan's form at the moment, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They're on 67% form, up against Kyrgyzstan, who've just won once in the last 6. Over the course of those 5 matches, Uzbekistan have got 4-0 win on the record, scoring 17 goals in those 5 games, 3.40 goals a game on average. Kyrgyzstan on the flip side, no win, but they have scored 4 goals, pick up a 0.80 goals a game on average. Last time they played each other at this very venue was a 3-1 win for Uzbekistan back in March 2022. The reverse fixture, a 3-2 win for Uzbekistan in these qualifiers back in September. The last match, though, Uzbekistan did draw with Jordan in a friendly back in January. Kyrgyzstan Republic's last match was a 3-2 loss to Iran back in November. We've got no odds on this one, guys. Of course, we've got no odds for the whole thing here. But I'm going to go with a 3-0 win for Uzbekistan. They are a powerhouse, and I could actually see them making the World Cup in 2026. Meanwhile, same group is Iran. They're going to be taking on. Who are they? The UAE. This match taking place at the Azadi Stadium. Iran currently top of the pops. In fact, they've actually assured their spot in the 4th round of this qualification. So that's the worst case scenario for them. But of course, they want to qualify straight for the World Cup, and they are on the course to do just that. They're on 92% form for them right now, winning 5 of the last 6, up against the UAE on 50% form for them, 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2, but they're coming into this winless in the last 3. The UAE are in 3rd, and a win for them, they could actually go into 2nd spot. They played around 10 times in 2008, yet to get a win, 8 wins for Iran, and there's been 2 draws. Of course, of those 10 games, Iran do have a 3-0 win on the record. They've got 12 goals scored in those 10 matches, 1.20 goals a game on average. Up against the United Arab Emirates, no wins, but they do have 2 goals, 0.20 goals a game on average. Last time they played in Iran, I believe it was a 1-0 win for Iran way back in February 2022, the reverse fixture. A 1-0 win for Iran in match number 2 in September. So Iran have only conceded 1 goal against the UAE over the course of the last 6. Iran, though, on the back of successive 3-2 wins. They've been a bit leaky in the defence, but both of those games were at home. They scored 10 goals in the last 3 games combined. The United Arab Emirates on the back of a 1-1 draw against Oman, but they ain't going to win this one, folks. They're going to go with a 2-0 win, Iran to take it to the house. That's right, guys. Next up, we go to Qatar. They're going to be taking on the North Koreans here, the Korea DPR. Qatar coming at you with a match taking place at Jassan bin Hamad Stadium on the 20th of March. Qatar, without a win in the last 4, just 1 win in the last 6 up against the North Koreans. Winless in the last 6 matches. Qatar currently in 4th. With the North Koreans down in 6th. They played 4 times in 2013, 2 for Qatar, nothing for Korea, and there's been 2 draws. Korea yet to get a win, but they have scored 3 goals in those 4 matches, 0.75 goals a game on average. Qatar's biggest win, 6-0 win, scoring 11 goals in those 4 matches, 2.75 goals a game on average. Now, these 2 sides last played in Qatar. It was a 3-1 win for Qatar back in November 2014. The reverse fixture, when North Korea were the hosts, was a 2-2 draw back in September. The North Koreans on the back of that 1-0 loss to Uzbekistan back in November. Qatar did play on the back of December. It was in the Gulf Cup. They could only draw, though, against Kuwait, which didn't see them progress very far in that competition. Qatar, though, should win this one, going with a 3-1 win, which gives them a big old chance to maybe even break into that top 2 very, very soon, or at least close the door anyway. So that's, of course, completes Group A for these matches. Let's hop on over to Group B now. South Korea, they're going to be taking on Oman, that's right, coming at you on the 20th of March as well. Korea currently find themselves top of the pops right now. It's 14 points for them, unbeaten in those 6 matches, 83% form for them. Up against Oman, 50% form for them heading into this one, 2 lost 2 and drawn 2 over the last 6. They currently find themselves in 4th spot. South Korea, though, have played Oman 3 times in 2009. They've won twice. There has been 1 draw. Oman only scored the 1 goal in those 3 games, 0.33 goals a game on average, compared to the Koreans, who have scored 4 goals in those 3 matches, 1.33 goals a game on average. The last match they played in Korea, it was I believe it was in Korea, it was a 1-0 win back in January 2015. The reverse fixture, a 3-1 win. I was back in Oman back in September. 3-1 win for South Koreans. The Koreans on the back of a 1-1 draw against Palestine. It's been back-to-back away games for them. Oman did play the Gulf Cup final, losing to Bahrain, though, 2-1 loss. That was their most recent match. South Korea at home. Where's this taking place? The Gwangyang Stadium, of course, should be a 1-1, only 1 winner here. 4-0 winners, South Korea take it to the house. Let's go Jordan then, shall we? They are taking on Palestine, coming at you over in Jordan. This match takes place also on the 20th of March at the Amman International Stadium. Jordan, 50% form for them right now, winners in the last 5. However, drawn 4 of that last 5. Over against Palestine, who are winners in the last 6. They're on 25% form for them, and they currently find themselves bottom of the pile in Group B. On the flip side, Jordan are in 3rd, and they could be into the top 2 if they get a win, and everything else goes their way. They played Palestine 5 times to 2010, winning 3 of them, and there's been 2 draws. Palestine yet to get the win, but they have scored 3 goals in those 5 games, 0.6 goals a game on average. Up against Jordan, who've got a 5-1 winner on the record. They've scored 13 goals in those 5 matches, 2.60 goals a game on average. Last time played in Jordan, I'm thinking, I don't even know, but the last time Jordan were the host was a 5-1 win. That was back in December 2021. The reverse fixture, this tournament, this qualification phase, it was a 3-1 win for Jordan back in September. The Palestinians on the back of that draw against Korea, that was at home. Jordan on the back of a 0-0 draw against Uzbekistan back in January. They should win this one as well. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win, just a 1-0 win for Jordan into a crawl. It's maybe even into the top 2, depending on the result of this next game. That's right, it's Iraq. It is Kuwait. It's also on the same match day. Iraq, of course, coming into this on 42% form, back-to-back defeats up against Kuwait on 42% form for them as well. Just one win, though, in the last 6. They take place at the Basra International Stadium. Iraq currently find themselves second in the table, just 3 points adrift of South Korea, who are top. Kuwait, though, currently find themselves in 5th, and they need a result and fast. They played 9 times, these two sides. Bit of a rivalry here. 2 wins apiece and 5 draws. Iraq have scored 14 goals, so have Kuwait over the course of those 9 games. They both have a 1.56 goals a game on average. However, the last match at Iraq was a 2-1 win for Iraq back in January 2021. The reverse fixture in Kuwait way back in September, it was a 0-0 draw. In fact, three of the last 4 between these two sides have ended up all square. It's very tight between these two sides, despite the positions in the table. This could go either way, despite the fact that Iraq are home. Iraq on the back of that 3-1 loss to Saudi Arabia. That was in the Gulf Cup group stage. I don't think they put the best performance out there. On the flip side, Kuwait did get to the semi-finals of the Gulf Cup, losing to Bahrain, who looked like their eventual winners on that last one. The odds for this one, got no odds. Iraq should win this one. I'm going with a 2-0 win. But realistically, you just don't know. So then we hop on over to the spicy one. It is Group C. Of course, it's anyone's guess as to who will join Japan. Japan, of course, running away with it. But we're going to start with Australia against my boys. That's right, Indonesia. Goodness gracious me. Indonesia under new managerialship, of course, potentially controversially. But hey, they've gone for the gusto. Patrick Kluivert coming in with a bit of a Dutch contingent in the coaching staff. It's take place at the Allianz Stadium in Australia. Where is that exactly? That's over in Sydney Football Stadium. Australia on the back of an unbeaten run of 5 matches, however, drawn 4 of that last 5. Indonesia on the flip side, 42% form for them right now, back-to-back defeats. They played Australia 4 times in 2009. Australia winning 2 of them. Indonesia yet to get a win. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. Last time around in Australia, what are we looking at? Well, last time Australia were the host, it was a round of 4, around 16 Asian Cup knockouts. Australia came out on top with a 4-0 win. That was back in January 2024. However, the reverse fixture in Indonesia way back in September, it was a 0-0 draw. Indonesia yet to score against Australia over the last 4, but this is a different Indonesia. I'm telling you now. Indonesia did lose a couple of games recently. Again, not necessarily the bigger tournament that they're focused about. They did lose to Philippines and Vietnam back-to-back games without a goal. The Australians on the back of that 2-2 draw against Bahrain in Bahrain, with the last victory being a 3-1 win over China. They've only lost once in this qualification phase. That was against Bahrain at home. And again, throughout this qualification phase, they have changed their manager. Difficult one, this one. I'm going to go with a draw here. I think the new managerial staff or the coaching staff of Indonesia will get something out of this game. And I'm just still not sure about these Australians at that moment. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, which does give Indonesia a bit of hope, but it does leave Australia currently in the 2nd spot. Let's hop on over to the next game. It is Japan. It is Bahrain. It's coming at you over in Japan, taking place, of course, where is it? It's taking place over at the Safama Stadium in Satna in Japan. Japan, of course, 90% form for them, winning 5 of the last 6. In fact, they're unbeaten in the last 6 up against Bahrain. 75% form, just 1 defeat in the last 6 themselves. They played each other 10 times in 2005. 8 wins Japan, 2 wins Bahrain. There's been no draws. Last time around in Japan, it was a 2-0 win, I believe, back in March 2010. The reverse fixture, a 5-0 win for Japan back in September over in Bahrain. They've scored 10 goals in the last 3 games against Bahrain, conceding the 1. The Japanese on the back of that 3-1 win over China back in November. Bahrain picking up a Gulf Cup victory over Oman back in January. That was the last match. The Japanese are something else, especially at home. This should be a big score. 3-0 winners. It could even be more than that. Going to go with the Japanese to take it to the house. And then finally, folks, we go to Saudi Arabia, who, again, not been the best of late in this competition so far. They're taking on the Chinese at the Awala Park Stadium, Saudi Arabia. 50% form for them right now, winning 3 and losing 3. Up against China, who won twice at the last 6. And they played Saudi Arabia 7 times in 2009. There's been 4 wins Saudi Arabia, 1 win for China. There's been 2 draws. Saudi Arabia scored 12 goals in those 7 games, 1.71 goals a game on average. China scoring 7, picking up a goal a game on average as well. Last time around over in Saudi Arabia, it was a 3-2 win for the Saudis back in October 2021. The reverse fixture, a 2-1 win for Saudi Arabia in China back in September. The Chinese on the back of that 3-1 loss to Japan. Saudi Arabia losing the Gulf Cup semi to Oman. Goodness gracious me, back in on New Year's Eve. This is must-win territory for Saudi Arabia. They currently find themselves, where are they? in the lead. They're down to 4th right now. They're all level on 6 points. Of course, the table could look dramatically different when we come back around for the next round of games. But I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Saudi Arabia. I'll put them right back in the thick of things. And because of my result, I could see them leapfrog into 2nd spot. Goodness gracious me. That's my take on it, guys. Make sure you get your own in as well. Your predictions down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. We look forward to seeing those. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. We're done.